So explain to us, Matt, what Chris Bowen was up to and why it was so disingenuous.
Yeah, well, there's two basic misleading points that Chris was making there. You've highlighted one, that he was quoting wholesale figures, so that's the prices that the transmission companies have to pay before they give the power to your house. So there's extra costs on top of that. The bigger perhaps issue though is he's quoting instantaneous, I think, by the looks of it, daily prices. You can tell it's misleading pretty clearly because Chris was saying that the price has gone from something like $300 a megawatt hour to around $100 a megawatt hour since the election. Has anyone's power bill reduced by a third? Or two-thirds, actually. Has anyone's power bill a third of what it was at election day? That doesn't seem to be right. So there's something a little bit fishy about these figures, isn't there? And so by just quoting daily figures, that's obviously completely absurd, because what we've actually seen this week from the Australian Energy Regulator is that the average of the wholesale price has gone up quite significantly. In fact, every state in Eastern Australia has seen really big increases in wholesale prices over the past few months, with the exception of New South Wales. They've stayed about the same, but not really good news for New South Wales. They're at the top as well. They've got massive wholesale power prices that you just haven't seen before. So yeah, the issue is that Chris Bowen promised Australian households that he would cut your power bills by $275. That was meant to become due this year. It obviously hasn't. They don't repeat that figure anymore. And now Australians are rightly asking Chris, like Ashton Kutcher in that famous movie, they're saying, dude, where's my cheaper power?
Matt, you have one of the best Twitter accounts, Senator Matt Canavan. I follow it all the time, and I urge our viewers to do the same. You posted these figures from the ABS, which actually shows Australian electricity prices have more than tripled since we started mandating renewable energy, which is amazing. You also pointed out that coal, which I'll be talking about later, is the cheapest form of energy. But I want to ask you about this character, Simon Steele. He's the United Nations top climate chief, some long title he's got about the framework, this and that, He reckons that Australia is going to push the planet beyond boiling point, and by the year 2050 we'll only have one piece of fruit or vegetable a year. It'll be such a luxury. What is this nonsense? What's he talking about, Matt?
Well, I suppose, Rowan, my kids would probably cheer the fact of only having to have vegetables once a year. They'd be very happy with that. But I think everyone's just a little bit sick of these ridiculous and absurd Chicken Little style protestations from people, particularly how hypocritical they can be. And this particular UN climate czar was exposed for hypocrisy this week. Great work from Jeff Chambers there at the Australian, finding out that his job before he was the UN climate czar was a parliamentarian in the Grenadian, I think, yeah, Parliament in the Caribbean there. And in that role, he actually helped pass a bill through the Grenada Parliament called the Hydrocarbon Incentives Bill. Now the Hydrocarbon Incentives Act. And he gave speeches promoting the fact that Grenada had to attract oil and gas investment to boost their fossil fuel production.
Fantastic.
I mean, where do these guys get off? I put the ask out on my Twitter account.
Yeah. Carry on. Yeah.
I said I put the ask out on my Twitter account, Rowan. Do we think in Australia we should have the Hydrocarbon Incentives Act? Do people think we should have that too? Because it's UN approved. The UN is asking us to do this. And so, look, maybe we should just get with the program and promote oil and gas in our country too.
Love it. And finally, Matt, before you go, the Coalition, there's been talk in the newspaper this morning, the Coalition is facing pushback from some Liberal and National MPs on the question of support for Israel. What is going on here? I would be very, very unimpressed, let's put it mildly, if the Liberals start to waver in their support, or the Coalition starts to waver in its support for Israel. Your thoughts?
Look, Rowan, I support Israel, and I definitely want to see Hamas destroyed. Look, I've been a bit shocked at the images out of Palestine, and I know you've highlighted the misinformation that's occurred in the last week, but I've had my concerns for some time. I don't like the images of entire suburbs just levelled. And I realise it's very, very difficult for Israel. I understand that, but we've seen a Catholic church bombed in recent weeks.
I have to disagree with you there. I think what is absolutely fundamental is that the hostages are released and that Hamas is finished as a terrorist organisation. That's my take on it. Thanks, Matt. Speak to you again soon.